Hi, welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion where I get my name. Now, this is part 5 of the 23rd chapter of the Pot Smoker's Bible and the 20th chapter of the book of Zion. And this is a quote from the Bible passage that we've been studying, and it goes like this: Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching his understanding. This verse addresses the Zionite people who truly haven't heard the sacred text, not only of the Torah, but of the other divine sacred writings of all the known religions. My people don't care about the holy books. They avoid them. So most of my people have not heard of the things contained in the books that were written especially for them. These books tell our story. Each one contains a vital piece of information that only by reading all of the sacred books that we learn the entire body of knowledge handed down to us from ancient times by the aliens that created us. All those who seek to learn how to use their telepathic abilities will have to study the sacred text, not as if we were idolizing an ancient myth, but as a textbook for understanding how we use telepathy. If you doubt me, let me explain. Confucius teaches us common sense so that we can be part of a social order. We must be moral in order to work together peacefully. Hinduism teaches us a social ordering that guides us from the lowest form of knowledge to the highest, allowing us a matrix to work with. We move between these levels of learning from lifetime to lifetime, always always learning higher and higher levels of understanding. This is a cycle of evolution for the soul. As we are reborn again and again, we learn more and more about each part of life's equations. As we live, we grow. We learn through karma how to evolve into higher forms. Each time we graduate in a cycle, we move up to the next level, and we have to start back at the bottom of the hierarchy for that level. Buddha teaches us the path to ascension. We learn to meditate, to let go of our physical self and find our inner soul. Taoism teaches us to connect to the matrix. We learn about the powers of creation and how to work with them. All forms of tribal lore teach us of the spiritual world that shares our physical space. We learn the forms of nature. We learn the ways of nature and how the spiritual world interacts with the physical world. Wicca teaches us the formulas set into our earthly matrix and how to direct the energies of this plane of existence. We learn to connect to the next highest plane of existence, the spiritual plane, where all of our energies come. We learn how to honor those higher ritual spiritual beings. Voodoo is in all its forms teaches us who the powers and principalities of the higher planes are and how to honor and work with them. It teaches us how to safely and properly channel higher forms of being. Shinto, the Japanese religion of ancestor worship, teaches us to honor who we are and to honor all those that have come before us. Family is sacred. Honor is sacred. To honor our past lives and the lives of those that we interact with unites us with our former selves. Zoroastrianism religion teaches us the difference between soul and body and spirit and tells us of the battle between good and evil. Wicca teaches us also how to use spiritual energy and how to interact with the higher powers. It kind of brings us all together with the spells, with the casting of spells. This is a spiritual worship, warriorship um, who fights the battle between good and evil. So we bring all of this together. Satanic worship is the religion of those that have chosen the darker path of negative energy. Islam, okay, Islam, the religion of the eldest son of Abraham. It teaches fealty to God. It is an amalgamation of local ancient beliefs and the teachings of Abraham, Ishmael's father. It embodies fealty and loyalty to God. Christianity. It is an amalgamation of the mythology of the Middle East, embodying aspects of all known myths, but based on the Messianic promise of Judaism. It was created in order to allow for the creation of our modern world. It embodies the concepts of redemption and forgiveness. Judaism is the foundation of the final three religions. It is the transmitter of the pure bloodline. It transmits the genetics of the gray. This safeguarded the genetic priesthood of the pre-flood age. Abraham was the high priest of that age. He was the friend of God. He used marijuana in order to communicate with God. He was the last priest of his ancient religious line. His son Isaac was given marijuana. He worshiped God and knew him, but he wasn't taught the true ancient way. Jacob too used marijuana, but he was the last. His 12 sons no longer seemed to use marijuana except Joseph, who was elevated by God above his older brothers. He foretold, he followed in his father's footsteps. Joseph was the last descendant of Abraham to use marijuana in the Judaic line until Moses, who stumbles upon it as it's burning. This is the first reintroduction of the use of marijuana as a telepathic medium. But the children of Israel reject God's voice. They rejected the telepathic gray form and the use of marijuana. Their children later rejected God in lieu of the human king. This rejection of God made Zion necessary. Christianity is corrupted from is a corrupted form of Judaism. It was the invention of a single man who created an idealized version of the Jewish Messiah in the form of a martyr that the Romans feared, namely Jesus. Jesus was the leader of the Essenes Council of Elders. They were planning to overthrow the Roman rule of Israel. They tried in AD 66 to 70, but they failed, and the religious order was wiped out. The Romans had knowledge of the entire Essene population. Saul, who called himself Paul, was an arch. He infiltrated the order, rose in the ranks, learned the location of all the Essene strongholds, and then he created a new false version of Jesus as Messiah. As so in AD 66 to 70, the Romans knew where to go to end all of the Essenes. The Jesus Christ we hear of today is a false narrative told by Saul. Everywhere he went, he preached Jesus and added local lore into his storyline in order to win over followers. Christianity has continued to do so to this very day. Islam in the ancient is the ancient beliefs of the Middle East and the ancient beliefs of Abraham, the father of Ishmael. I honor all of the people of Ishmael. To do otherwise is to dishonor Abraham, Ishmael's father, shame of Israel. Shame on Israel for hating its older brother Ishmael should be honored. Sarah gave her handmaid to Abraham. She had no right to reject her once Isaac was born. Isaac was the true heir, born in wedlock. But Ishmael was still a son of Abraham, bastard or not. Sorry, Mother Sarah, I have to mend the family. And like it or not, Hagar became family by your own hand, and she and her son must be honored as such. Islam also gives a true, unique image of the Zealite. Their fealty to Allah is supreme. They are on a crusade to right an ancient wrong. They are equal to Israel in blood and in faith. We must honor their birthright as sons of Abraham, the same bloodline. So please, brothers, find peace between you. Your little sister needs you both. Your youngest family member is being raped by every government with drug laws on this planet. We too are the children of Abraham. We too are friends of God. And it's not just your little sister that's in trouble. The entire human species is in danger. Please acknowledge each other as brothers. Ishmael, the eldest child, and Isaac, legal heir, half-brother by blood. He giveth power to the faint, and them that have no might, he increases strength. If Islam, who seems to have returned the religion's use of marijuana, and Israel, who transmitted the true message of Zion, were to both stand up for my people, we would be mighty indeed. But even without the approval of either Israel or Ishmael, we, who have always been isolated in small groups, will become a mighty nation just by being shown in our true numbers and in our true form as righteous priests of the ancient alien gods of earth. Even the young shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. This is, of course, telling about the current asthma and disabilities of our children. Asthma, or autism, also must be made part of this trend. We have broken the genetic bonds of our DNA because of pollution. Greed has destroyed our ability to reproduce, and it's getting worse. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings of eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. By getting high, we are safeguarding our genetic code. The CDCs in pot are part of the secondary cellular unique system. This newly found part of our human anatomy regenerates our cell walls, strengthening our DNA, preventing damage. And there I'm going to stop, and we will pick up next time where we left off. So, until then, may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, keep you from all harm, teach you right from wrong. May you always be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Know that I love you. I'll see you soon on our big camp out. Later, because I'll never say goodbye.